What's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're talking about a personal favorite of mine, and it's a martial arts film that stars both Jackie Chan and Jet Li. It's The Forbidden Kingdom. Not to be confused with my book, The Forbidden Kingdom, which I came up with that title before you did. Oh well. You know what's retrospectively horrible here? That Donnie Yen at one point was attached to play a character in this film. Can you imagine Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and Donnie Yen in the same movie? I know I can't, but at the same time, I didn't even know who Donnie Yen was yet. I was just happy to see Jackie Chan play alongside Jet Li for the first time because I've always wanted to see who would come out on top between the two. However, this is not a Jackie versus Jet movie. They fight once, probably for the fans, but it's more of an adventure film where they are both supporting roles and both opposing the same thing. I don't know if I can jink as fast as these guys, but let's see how fast I can review it, and let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day, jink, to move quickly or unexpectedly with sudden turns and shifts. The Forbidden Kingdom takes American kung fu movie fan Jason into ancient China after touching a magical staff that, as legend states, is to be returned to its rightful owner, the Monkey King. There, he meets a silent monk and an immortal warrior intimately familiar with Drunken Fist, and the two vow to help him return the staff and bring peace back to the village. Narratively, this film might remind you about older 90s and even 80s films, depending on which movie you're thinking about. For me, the first thing that came to mind is a number of kids' films where an American in modern day gets sucked into the past and has a crazy adventure. But you might get reminded of Jackie Chan's origins with Drunken Master 2 because he's doing the whole Drunken Fist thing again. You might be reminded of Karate Kid. Before Jackie Chan remade that film, there are elements here that might remind you of Karate Kid because they have to teach this kid kung fu, and one way they do it is to have him be their weed whacker, using the staff back and forth to kick weeds out of the way, which he uses later on to kick bad guys back and forth. You know, wax on, wax off, grasshopper. I'm mostly a fan of this film for the fighting, which I've always loved. I'm also a fan because during this day and age, Jackie Chan and Jet Li were martial arts giants. Not as much anymore, but boy, back then, absolutely. I'm a huge, colossal fan of the music in the film too, which I've used for my own fighting videos back in the day. A few of them you can hear in my latest video on Instagram. I like the filming location, or just the world that the story exists in. I'm a fan, but I'm not a fan of the acting or dialogue. A lot of what's spoken in this movie and how it's spoken is just cringeworthy bad and corny. I get that people who aren't fluent in English can't always say the right words the right ways or anything, but I've seen Jackie in a lot of movies, and I've seen Jet Li in a lot of movies too, both of which normally they sound believable. Maybe it was just because normally they film more takes or dub their lines more and more. I'm not sure honestly, but something about the way they spoke in this movie wasn't great. And because of that, I had a hard time believing their acting or any emotions that they were trying to exhibit. Thankfully, the smoothness of their fight choreography, I do see partially as good acting. So my acting score didn't get a horrible score, but it got darn close to being pretty bad. One really good thing that I can say about the movie is that, thinking back, I don't think there's a single character in here that didn't fulfill some kind of important task. Everybody was in there for a reason, contributing to the plot, which is great. The narrative arc was also perfect. Good introduction with the American before he's pulled into this mythical world, which was the inciting incident. They have to go through several obstacles to get to their end goal, which again is the obstacles and the climax. And at the very end, which is the resolution, it returns to a new sense of norm after calming down. So the narrative is perfect. Is this movie perfect as a whole? No, but I think it is a lot of fun, and you can appreciate a ton of what they're going for. Let's take a look at the final score for a second. From an unbiased technical vantage point, this film does a few really good things. Like I said, the narrative arc is perfect. The cinematography and editing of the fight scenes was smooth. The music is memorable, and obviously the fights themselves were immaculately planned out. So that score is 80%, and because I'm such a sucker for this film, my bias score is 94%, averaging out everything to a final score of 87%, 87 out of 100 possible stars, granting The Forbidden Kingdom with a letter grade of B+. If you haven't seen this movie, now's the time. It is available on a few different streaming services like Hulu and Amazon Prime, As of right now, that is. They change their contracts all the time. So go ahead, check it out, and tell me what you thought of it in the comments down below. As for YouTube, you know what to do. Subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I come out with my next review, which may possibly be Nicolas Cage's not-so-hit film, Knowing, which I have a few things to talk about with that one. And until then, peace out.